really, really horrific. People carrying motionless bodies, mutilated across streets. It is really horrific. And that means this task force has a huge responsibility to ensure that these issues, what is the root cause of this thing? Is it societal issues? Is it cultural issues? Is it cultic? It is this team that is going to help this country sort out that issue. Coming from the State Department for Parliamentary Affairs that is coordinating government legislative agenda, I'm also aware that the State Department for Gender has, and affirmative action, has some initiatives that we have captured in the government legislative agenda. So going forward, I know once you identify the gap, whether it's a policy gap, it's a legislative gap, it's a regulatory gap, then we shall be working together with the State Department that is coordinating the realization of strong legislative framework to deal with this issue. I sincerely want to wish you all the best, and if possible, Chair, if possible, if there is room to add a secretariat, probably you can, it depends on whether there is still room, then we can nominate one person from the State Department for Parliamentary Affairs, because we have a list of what ministries are working on, then we can be, you can be, I want to believe that person will be very instrumental serving as a secretariat. So with those few remarks, I sincerely want to wish you the best. You have what it takes, you have God with you, and we are going to succeed through the recommendations that you are going to give as a technical working group. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, my sister. PS Motari, ukiona mwenzako akinyolewa. So we work very closely with the State Department for Social Protection, and they are mainly responsible for promoting the welfare and the rights of vulnerable populations, including children, elderly persons, persons with disabilities, the marginalized groups, etc. And we are happy that you're a member of the Oversight Committee. Kindly come and give some remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PS Anne Wangombe, PS Raymond Omolo, my brother, Anne Wangombe, the PS for Gender and Affirmative Action, our chair, Dr. Nancy Baraza, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Sorry for coming late. I knew it was at 11, but it's unfortunate that when I called her, she told me I was meant to be here a little bit earlier. So it's quite unfortunate that I'm late, and therefore I may not really have got what has been discussed earlier. Chair, mine is to appreciate, as PS Aurelia has said, to appreciate His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for appointing us and for seeing it fit within his mandate that femicide and GBV is indeed not only bad but very, very dangerous. And therefore, he appointed us to see to it what is it that can be done to end femicide and GBV in this nation. My sister, PS Anne Wangombe, we always say we are joined by the hips, because you cannot isolate a mother and a child. The femicide and GBV is mostly done on the women. And when this mother goes, what happens to the child? When a disabled or an older person is harmed, what happens to this child again? So we work very, very closely, and we want to say to it, what is it that can be done to make sure that femicide is no longer in this country. This is a vice that we must condemn with its strongest terms possible. Allow me to say this, that social protection, you cannot isolate it with all that happens in the nation. Social protection is the carrier, is the mother, is the base of the nation. So when one's life is taken, definitely there's an impact on those who have been left. And again, it is not right to take anybody's right. Even the Bible does not allow to take anyone's life. So please, we are equal to the task, and Chair, you are able enough. We'll support you. As my sister has said, if we can have a secretariat, that will make our work easier. If you see it fit as a chair, it will be good for us. Therefore, we are there. We'll support you, Chair, and we will work very, very closely. I thank you. Without much ado, I appreciate and I thank you. Thank you so much.
PS Dr. Dakota, welcome. He's also a member of the Oversight Committee. Allow me to break protocol a bit. For the first time, the country has an advisor to the President on Women's Rights. When His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, came to power, he appointed Madam Harriet Shigai as an advisor on women's rights. And this is a clear demonstration that His Excellency is committed to the issues of gender, that is gender equality, gender empowerment, and for that reason, we have Honorable Harriet with us. She's not a member of the task force because our level is higher, but she will be guiding us as we move along. So, Madam Shigai, please come and give us your remarks. Dr. Dakota, you'll tell us something after she speaks. And to mention that we were meant to have head of public service as our chief guest today, but due to unavoidable circumstances, he could not manage, and therefore he has delegated that role to PS Dr. Omoro. Thank you so much. Karibu sana.
Good morning. Good morning again.
Good morning.
I think today should be a more joyous day because there is hope that we've started the steps towards solving a bigger problem. So please, good morning and smile.
Good morning.
In my office we always joke that for anyone to stand on this other side to talk to a multitude of highly educated individuals, you actually need some strength. So please clap for me so that I gain confidence. What you don't know is that the clapping gives the speaker some little confidence to articulate the issues that they want to give you. So mine today, I think today is the happiest day of my life in the year 2025. Why do I say that? We have cried for the last 2 years. You can see Dr. Edna is here. She fashioned a whole program on child protection. It's stalled. I can see PS Aurelian Rono. We've been discussing about the laws and regulations that we need to amend. We have mapped them out, but they haven't moved. PS here, I'm sure your biggest headache was how to solve killings that are out of your control. You know, everybody looks at PS and says, you're the problem. And the question I've always asked Kenyans everywhere I go, how do we fix your love story? Femicide is a love story that has gone so. Because if you look at the numbers that we have for the last 2 years, femicide is an issue that is happening within our comfort zones, the spaces that we consider safe within our homes, our environment. And at the end of the day, it's the government that gets the flacking because the assumption is government must fix love stories. It's not possible. And that is why today I'm saying I am the happiest because PS Interior here will now go today sleeping knowing that a 360 report will come out of the deliberations from the great minds seated here today. So that is why I'm saying I am very happy. Very happy because we will go home every day knowing that there's a team. There's a team of 45 people dealing with this thing every day. And ours will be to issue reports, to listen to what you've come up with. And when I look on this other side, I actually see everyone seated on that other side. You have the expertise. You have what it takes to actually give us what the government is looking for. So the PSS present, Anne Wangombe, I know you've cried many times with us whenever we go to the field and we find the atrocities that are being met on children and women. And we expanded the TORs of this committee to include children because the boy child should not be left behind. When we look at laws, we are not looking at individual laws, but we have to look at laws for everyone. And that is why children have to be covered within this as well. When you look at the statistics and what is happening within the boy child, and we are not talking about it, we have high cases of sodomy in this country. You're all quiet. True or false? So to me, I am truly happy because I know this will be sorted. So PS Raymond Omolo, my good brother, PS Aurelia Rono, my sister, we've worked so well together. PS Motari, you're part of the team that were looking at the children issues. PS Dakota, the chairperson of the National Gender Inequality Commission, my sister Jaldesa, esteemed members of the technical working group, and the chairperson of this task force, Dr. Nancy Baraza. I know you're the best that could ever be to do this work. Your work speaks for itself. The work you did at CKRC, you might not remember, but you are the champion of the Bill of Rights. I want to also say, you're the person who gave me the first mic. In most cases, we don't celebrate the great women and men who have fashioned us. Nancy Baraza did it to me. She gave me the first mic. I was her intern. I was actually her research assistant. But she gave me the power not only to take the mic and do and participate in what she was doing, but she's the reason as to why I'm standing here today. It was the first job I ever did. So for that, Nancy, allow me, because in this room I believe I know you better, because I was a small girl then. You were a mother to me, and I laud you for the good work you have done over the years. And this is just the beginning. There is more to come. So don't get tired to mentor and work with others, because we all need someone to hold our hand. The work you have done around women and children, you are in FIDA. I think it speaks for itself. And I believe if your work is good, let it speak for itself so that everybody else can plug into it. And I don't need to deliver much on that. I mean, no doubt you're the best chairperson to this team. You should clap for your chair. To the task force, the work ahead is not easy, but we shall take and overcome the barriers. You've heard from the church, this is not the work that you do by yourselves. Everybody must plug in. The church is key on matters advocacy. I keep saying if the church was to hold everyone to account, every Sunday we are all in church. I hope that the church will also take lead in these discussions. Reason being, matters of emotions are not tangible. That's why I'm saying your work is not easy. You cannot quantify love. You cannot quantify emotions. You cannot tell me standing out here what is the strength of my ability or my brain ability to withstand pressure. It is clear the societal frock is completely broken, and our work, I believe, goes beyond the report to be tabled. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with profound sense of purpose that I join you here as we embark on this crucial mission to combat GBV in our country. Today marks a pivotal moment in our society. We need to have collective efforts to address this crisis that continues to rob women, girls, and our children of their dignity, safety, and their potential. Kenya stands as a committed partner to the Sustainable Development Goals, and as a leader of the GBV Action Coalition under the Generation Equality Forum, we chair the GBV Committee. This underscores our national pledge to eliminate all forms of violence against women and children. The numbers speak volumes. The rising cases of GBV, particularly femicide, are a harsh indictment of the societal norms that perpetuate violence in this country. These acts represent a grave breach of human rights and justice, principles that are at the very foundation of our nation. We cannot stand by while our mothers, sisters, and children and wives live in fear and with a lot of suffering. Any country that a child or woman cannot walk around freely is not a free country yet. In alignment with the better plan, which aims to drive economic growth and improve livelihoods, our government recognizes the intersection between gender equality and national prosperity. The Women's Charter, which the President signed with the women of this country, has 8 pillars and 43 commitments, which remain a guiding framework for addressing these challenges, and it's the Bible that my office uses. Sexual and gender-based violence is among its core priorities, and my office is closely monitoring progress in fulfilling these commitments. GBV presents itself in multiple devastating forms. Violence against children, including physical, sexual, emotional abuse, neglect, teenage pregnancies, and a fragmented child protection system is just but the few that have been highlighted. Violence against women, including sexual and physical violence in our homes, workplaces, and public spaces, as well as harmful practices such as FGM, are just but those that we need to talk about. The rise of digital violence or technology-facilitated GBV adds new layers to these challenges, and we look upon this committee to give us viable solutions to all this. Let me briefly highlight some concerning statistics. According to the Kenya Demographic and Health Survey, 42% of women aged between the age of 15 and 49 have experienced physical or sexual violence. What that means is that of every 5 women you see around, 4 have been violated. Adolescents, who make up a quarter of our population, are disproportionately affected. We have 15% of girls aged between the age of 15 to 19 who are already childbearing. In the year 2023 alone, 154,117 adolescent girls aged between 15 and 19 were reported pregnant. This translates over 450 classrooms in this country filled with pregnant teenagers, an alarming reflection of the protection crisis we face today. These pregnancies come at a social and economic cost, not just to families, but to the nation at large. The figures are shocking, right? Furthermore, 60% of women in the construction industry and 75% of sports women have reported experiencing GBV, according to studies conducted by the Office of the Women Rights Advisor, together with the Aga Khan University. This data reveals a stark reality. We must act urgently and decisively. This technical working group holds a critical mandate to evaluate and strengthen our institutional, legal, and policy responses to GBV and femicide. I urge you to conduct a comprehensive review of the gaps in our existing frameworks and develop actionable recommendations to address them. Prioritize the voices of survivors to ensure our interventions are survivor-centered and inclusive. Advocate for enhanced data collection and analysis to better understand the scope of GBV and measures progressively. Strengthen coordination among stakeholders, including government, civil society, private sector, religious institutions, academia, to create a united front against GBV. Address the root causes of GBV, including harmful social norms, economic disparities, impunity for perpetrators, and inadequate support systems for survivors. This technical working group has the power to drive real change. Your expertise and commitment are essential to ensuring that our country becomes a safer and more equitable place for women, children, and all vulnerable groups. Let us stand united in our fight against GBV and femicide. Together we can create a Kenya where justice, equality, dignity, and human rights are not aspirations but lived realities for all. Thank you, and I look forward to an impactful outcomes of your deliberation. I congratulate you all, and we look forward to receive your report in 90 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Harriet. With us, we have PS Baika, devolution, in charge of devolution. Please start so that people can see you and wave. Dr. Dakota, Cabinet Affairs, please wave. This morning when we had a meeting with Dr. Barasa and Dr. Raymond, Dr. Barasa was like, "You're the PS Interior. You're so young." Yes, he's young but very effective, and we respect him in our space. Now, he plays the role very crucial in addressing gender matters as far as maintaining law and order is concerned and ensuring that everyone is safe. Whenever we have these issues, I always run to him. And I do remember one time, I think it was last year, we held a meeting in his office and we called PS education, higher education on board, and PS tourism, because we felt that this needed to be dealt with holistically. That meeting is what has eventually led to the formation of this task force. Allow me to invite Dr. Raymond Omoro, who is studying in for Head of Public Service. Karibu sana, my brother.
Thank you. PS Gender and Affirmative Action, PS Anne Wangombe, my PS colleagues, PS Parliamentary Affairs, Aurelia Rono, PS Devolution, Terry Mbaika, PS Cabinet Affairs, Dakota, and of course PS for Social Protection, Mr. Motari, who's just stepped out, the chairperson of this very important working group, Dr. Baraza, the chairperson of GEC, my sister, Harriet, who is a presidential advisor on matters to do with gender, as well as part of what we are here today to think through and just set out to do. Members of the task force, the secretariat, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Good morning once again. Good morning. Now, I'm here on behalf of the head of public service, and maybe before I read out his speech, is just to make a few remarks by virtue of my position as the Principal Secretary for Internal Security and National Administration, but also as a member of the PSS Oversight Committee to this technical working group. And when I stand here, I see eminent patriotic Kenyans and citizens of the world, because this technical working group has the advantage of benefiting not just from the works or the experience of our citizens, but also of those who serve within the broader community of nations. And it has a mix of people who serve in government, outside government, and a number of international institutions. And at the outset, we take note of the comment by the Vice Chair of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. And within the Gazette notice that set up this task force, there is definitely room for co-option and also expansion of this technical working group. That also applies to the Secretariat, because we want to benefit from the best that there is, so that when the assignment is done, the country will look at this team under the leadership of Justice Baraza, that we have really done the best in the circumstances. Now, the issues of gender-based violence and, of course, femicide have been with us for a while now. And I think for a moment, as a government, we've actually taken a lot of flack, either for inaction or being perceived to not do anything. Now, as my colleagues and as the speakers have mentioned, this is a very complex challenge that we are dealing with. And there are issues around cultural norms, there are issues around morality, and it calls on all of us to have a much more broader view of things. Yes, the women and the girls are most affected, actually, the majority. But then Harriet has spoken about the boy child as well. And it is something that is very easy to forget, or to imagine that the male gender is not actually affected. I think there's a lot that has been done to bring up the girl child, to the point that the boy child either feels intimidated or is neglected. And some of that happens quite unconsciously within the society that we live in. If you have children, you have girls and boys, you always ask boys to man up and just ensure that the girls are well taken care of. So they grow up very confident. They probably are able to get the very best. Later on, when they're trying to interact with their male colleagues, then the situation gets exacerbated. My other point is that I know that the timelines are pretty tight. We are actually behind schedule. And I have no doubt in my mind that we'll try and work within the timelines that were set. But should there be a need for us to have a review, I think through the chair and the team, it's possible that we can always have those conversations. But the challenge is huge, and we cannot afford to waste any more time. Let me then go through what our chief guest would have spoken to. And to the chairperson of the National Gender and Equality Commission and commissioners present, the Vice Chairperson and Commissioners of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the President's Advisor on Women Rights, esteemed members of the Principal Secretary's Oversight Committee, the Chairperson, members and Secretariat of the Technical Working Group, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We convene today immediately after you've subscribed to your respective oaths of office as Chairperson, members and Secretariat of the Technical Working Group on gender-based violence, including femicide. You've been entrusted by His Excellency the President on behalf of the people of Kenya with the mandate of assessing, reviewing and recommending measures to strengthen the institutional, legal as well as policy response to GBV and femicide in the country. This is a very consequential task given the central place of the family as a basic unit of society and the necessary basis of social order, and the inherent dignity of every individual and their right to freedom and security. The family is the basis of nation building, and no nation can rise above the quality of values collectively exposed at the family level. As a society, we must work to strengthen our family units and promote the peaceful coexistence of partners in the intimate relationships, as well as effective resolution of disputes in marriages and other forms of relationships. The social order and the protection of the dignity, freedoms and security of individuals in our nation is threatened by the notable rising cases of gender-based violence, with increased cases of the killing of women and girls, generally referred to as femicide. Now, as you are aware, for the last 6 months, the country has recorded more than 100 cases of femicide. And sadly, this month alone, 15 women and girls have lost their lives through GBV. This causes immense physical, emotional, and economic harm to individuals, families, and communities, and exacerbates gender inequalities as well as impedes sustainable development. It is a reflection of deep-rooted familial and societal issues which presents a profound threat to our collective pursuit of gender parity, national security, as well as straining our social fabric. This calls for our collective efforts to continually improve the manner in which the affairs of our nation are governed. One such way is the realization that there are existing gaps in the prevention, response, investigations, prosecution, data management, as well as survivor support systems in GBV and femicide cases. The gaps have to be urgently addressed through innovative measures that generate positive change which can be sustained in the long term. As a result, an onerous task devolves upon you to help the nation to reset towards a place where relations are based on tolerance and respect for one another, and where we share our similarities and also celebrate our differences as we pursue our dreams for the shared prosperity in peace and harmony. Your appointment to the working group, therefore, is not by sheer accident or what anyone would call luck. The appointment of every member of the technical working group is actually a reflection of the diverse experiences each one of you has and the capacity to be able to make meaningful contributions in the coming up with a final report that will help us to put this vice behind us. I would want to appeal to you to treat this task as a critical step towards achieving the comprehensive, sustained change that our nation so desperately needs. And given that your collective membership brings on board an array of experience made up of an extraordinary fusion of talents right across every aspect of our society, I have no doubt in my mind that you are equal to the task. Your membership is drawn from the state and non-state agencies, including development partners, civil society, and religious institutions. This is a demonstration of the dedication across board to tackle this challenging issue. His Excellency the President considers the work of this technical working group to be of great importance in not just fulfilling his obligation as the head of government, but much more as a father, husband, and son. He therefore expects your utmost dedication to the duty that lies ahead. I call upon you to engage as many people and institutions as possible in the performance of your work so that your recommendations are rich and reflective of the diversity of the Kenyan people. The outcome of your work will surely outlive you and will play a useful role in constructing the destiny of future generations that will come after you. And let future generations look back with pride at the output of this technical working group. The Executive Office of the President, the National Government Administration Infrastructure, together with the Principal Secretary's Oversight Committee, will be at hand to accord you all the necessary support in the performance of the tasks that lie ahead. Finally, I would want to extend my very best wishes and those of His Excellency the President in your work as I look forward to the product of your work. I would want to wish you the best in executing your mandate and undertake to avail through the respective government, departments and agencies all the support that you will need. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya. That brings us to the end of this ceremony, and we are all commissioned to actually get to do the most difficult work that the country is expecting us to undertake. I would want to call one of us from the Muslim faith to say the closing prayer. So as we prepare to have the closing prayer, I know that there's expectation that the